I'm hoping that at the earliest I can be in your presence and be in person. First of all, I congratulate you for this initiative and making, despite all the constraints, going on with this event and making this happen. I want to take a step back and talk about data, right? Um, People are paying a lot of attention to data now, but data is actually quite an old thing. It's been there uh, for uh, for thousands and thousands of years. Initially, it was in the caves. Then it was written in papyrus leaves. Um, it was used for accounting of grains in Egypt. It's now with technology has become, obviously, the fact that books got created allowed us to take data to the next level with the printing press. And now with the information age, it's become far more ubiquitous. Um, so it's not a new thing that we have, we have data. I think we have somebody on, uh, yeah, there's a nice baby sound coming. It's nice actually. The the perspective I want to give you is that it's important to ask ourselves what's the purpose of all of this, and that's not changed in the thousands of years. The purpose of all of this is to seek the truth more and learn about what's happening and make better decisions. So I want to just set the stage that the purpose of whatever we are doing is to make better decisions. Um, we we at Mu Sigma have been thinking about it from that perspective. And if you look at the name Mu Sigma, comes from the fact that to make a good decision, you need to know what the answer is and how confident you are about the answer. And that comes from mean and standard deviation, mu and sigma. Today, you know, we work with about 140 Fortune 500 customers. We are today the largest pure play data science company in the world. These are all the customers that we work with. Utkarsh, you can go on full screen mode. Yeah. Wall Street, Main Street, brick and mortar, internet, B2B, B2C. For all of these guys, we are not just thinking about, um, using data, uh, storing data, but also about making sense out of data and then eventually making, and putting it to a certain purpose. If I were to look at data combined with technology, that's data engineering. That is putting data in the right place, capturing data, like the previous speaker said. But when data engineering can be worked with applied mathematics, it becomes data science, and that's where you make meaning out of it. But with data science is interacts with business thinking, problem space, it becomes decision science. For all of these guys, we operate at the interplay between math, business, and technology. And I want to show that to you in the next page. If I want to take it slowly, I think the world, and I want to use the analogy from cricket, right? Today, the world is going from a bigger is better world to a faster is better world. We're going from economies of scale to economies of speed. We're going from a world of space to a world of space time. We are going from making products and services to making experiences. Therefore, how we think of time becomes very, very important. The analogy I want to give, because we're all in India, we love cricket, is that just like cricket, going from test cricket to one day cricket to 2020, the world of business also is going like that. Now, in such a world, um, as you go from test cricket to one day cricket, the wicket keeper became wicket batsman. More and more all rounders were needed. As you go to 2020, that phenomena just got accelerated. Um, in 2020, you're allowed to take certain kind of risks while batting or bowling, which you otherwise would not do in Test cricket. So the game has moved to accepting uncertainty a lot more and innovating a lot more. What I want to give you a perspective is how these interactions take place is important. The future of decision scientists, and I don't want to call data science alone, it's about decision science, is an interplay between art, science, and scale. It's an interplay between a business analyst, an applied mathematician, and a programmer. The future, you're going to need all of these. So when math and business interact, that's consulting. It's not very scalable though, because it's done purely with people. When business and technology interact, it's systems integration. It's not fast enough because it requires very clear specifications. When math and technology are interacting, it's building products, but it's not very flexible. It's made for a certain specific purpose. What we believe the future is a combination of math, business, and technology all together. And that's what with thinking like behavioral science, design thinking, all of these things. And that's what Mu Sigma has been doing. In our perspective, that it's a combination of art, science, and scale. So if you were to look at it, when things are not very well known, it becomes art. But when you put some sort of systems around it and learn it a little bit, it becomes science. And making art and science interact with each other is very, very important. But unless you put engineering into it, you cannot scale it. So the perspective is the interplay between art, science, and engineering, making all of these things together, making it happen for businesses as they are trying to learn about their business is becoming important. The future is not about knowledge, it's about learning. Learning is going to become more important than knowing. In that world, it's not about experts, it's about experiments. How can you reduce the cost of asking a question, cost in terms of time and cost in terms of money? If you can ask more questions, you're experimenting more. And in such a world, the new IP is about not keeping secrets. It's not intellectual property, but it's about interaction property. Music is made when all the notes interact. Similarly, if you can appreciate how things are going to interact, it becomes really, really important. I want to show you an example of this, and that will make it a little real for you. Utkarsh, you can just bring up the example from the airline.
In an airline industry, the on-time performance or OTP is a standard aviation measure to track day-to-day performance. OTP of an airline directly impacts its brand image, operational cost, and customer experience. The corporate strategy team of a major airline company approached Mu Sigma wanting to improve the on-time performance of their flights. We started the journey by identifying optimization of the turn time of flights as the key problem. The turn time is the time required to unload an airplane after its arrival at the gate and to prepare it for a subsequent departure. Any delay caused in one leg of the flight gets propagated across its future legs, causing multiple delays. However, there was a catch. The entire process of unloading an aircraft and preparing it for its next flight is highly manual in nature, and as of then, there was no framework in place to capture this data. In today's world of Internet of Things, there were multiple solutions to capture this missing data with technologies like beacons, RFID, GPS, surveillance cameras, and such. With computer vision growing in IoT space, Mu Sigma suggested the approach of capturing and crunching video data as it is non-intrusive, rich in nature, and helps solve for multiple use cases. In order to generate data from the manual activities during a turn, we focused on building a cost-effective prototype to capture video feed at JetBridge. The innovation labs at Mu Sigma created a prototype to record video, which would be triggered by a motion sensor only when there's traffic at the JetBridge. This prototype was 3D printed, bundled with edge devices and sensors, and shipped to St. Louis Airport for deployment. The actual data collected from deployment was used to tag and train human and baggage detection algorithms. With an exploratory mindset and a fail fast attitude, we rapidly experimented with different techniques, starting from traditional approaches and soon fixated on deep learning algorithms. With continuous training, we implemented both real time and batch processing solutions with accuracies of 96% for human detection and 90% for baggage detection. Historic data showed that some delays were due to checking in excess carry on bags during passenger boarding. Therefore, the capability to keep track of carry on bags and comparing it with overhead bin capacity real time had to be built. To alert the ground ops team to start checking in excess bags right at the gate, we built a classification algorithm to classify bags into three categories, namely suitcase, backpack, and handbag. To help the client understand if a specific group of people were delaying the enplaning and deplaning activity, we built a human classification model to classify humans into five categories, namely passengers, wheelchair bound passengers, pilots, flight attendants, and crew members. The solution was next deployed at New Orleans Airport for a duration of 2 months, and the converted metadata was used to study the turn gap and derive directional insights for the operations team. The business insights were generated by testing various hypotheses like whether wheelchair bound passengers were leading to delay or if increase in number of pre-board passengers increased the enplaning duration. We recommended edge analytics over a cloud-based solution to avoid redundant latencies in the process and reduce the cost of rich data transfer over the network. The deep learning algorithms for detection, classification, and tracking were deployed on the GPU machines in the airport using the Mu IoT platform. This enabled the team to monitor performance, modify existing codes, and upgrade algorithms remotely. Using the Mu VCL dashboard, we will be able to initiate real-time actions like notify the ground ops team to start checking in bags at the gate when the number of carry-on bags approach total bin capacity, alert crew members to assist passengers in wheelchairs, alert gate service supervisors during delays caused by crew members. Leveraging clients' input and insights from turn data, the video analytics solution has a potential to reduce turn time by 6 to 8%, leading to an incremental revenue of $60 to $70 million per year once the solution is scaled across all airports. Today, clients are leveraging the video analytics solution for various applications like TSA pre-check, wait time optimization, digital wayfinding app, and automated boarding pass generator using facial recognition for better customer experience.
Our video analytics project is really a cutting edge project where we're using a neural network machine learning algorithm to help us to be able to create particular sets of data using video. And the ESP product, which includes Mu VCL, Mu IoT, and Mu Flow, has really been a game changer for us because of its ability to really add a lot of efficiency on the technology backend, as well as a lot of efficiency when it comes to visualization and monitoring of our IoT devices so that we can implement proofs of concept across multiple stations in other cities and be able to manage and maintain all of our assets and be able to process all of the data in a real-time streaming workflow. And be able to show that off to all of our senior leaders as we go to prove out the value of what this model and the algorithm can do.
They have a competitive edge and thus the ability to envision airport of the future where several IoT use cases can be implemented, creating immense value.
So hopefully, you found that useful. Again, in all of this, right, when we started this journey, the problem that initially came to us was not very clearly defined. The ability to have a lot of empathy with the problem is going to become important. What do I mean by that? What is empathy? Empathy means the ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoe. And to put yourself in the people who are experiencing the problem so that you can have a better sense of all the aspects of things that are going on. And that's where things like design thinking becomes really, really useful. When we were engaging in this initiative, the initial perspective was that the problem space was defined as, hey, we'd like to have better operating effectiveness inside the airline. It was not very clearly defined that turnaround time is the place where we need to go and tackle the problem. But when we started interviewing people, when we started understanding their world, studying their data, it was very clear that a big area where we could make a difference was turnaround time. Now, turnaround time had so many things impacting turnaround time. How the pilot scheduling was done was impacting turnaround time. How baggage claim was working, pricing was working, check-in, check-out was working. So there are many things. It is extremely complex. And the world is becoming more and more complex. When you have more and more interactions, the world will be more and more complex. So the ability to see the complexity, understand the complexity, study it, have a lot of empathy, and then have, and still not be afraid of asking the question, why not? It's not enough if you just ask why, what, how, but you should also ask the question, why not? And try new things out. So we tested a few things, one gate at a time in New Orleans, and then eventually we scaled it. So this journey was about 12 to 18 months, and it made a huge difference. This is the kind of things we do at Mu Sigma. So is Mu Sigma, it's not a management consulting firm. It's not an IT services firm. It is not a product company, but it's an interplay between all of those kind of things. And I always say that our average age is about 23. I always look at Mu Sigma as a university, which, it's like a college university, which is also working as a company. And our perspective is that whenever we approach a problem, I can tell you most of us don't know what that problem is, but we are not afraid of asking questions. Questions in the future are going to become more important than answers. The ability to ask a good question, the ability to ask more questions, the ability to connect questions and ask it holistically is going to become very, very important. And I think that is where I feel, in India, we need to have a combination of humility and irreverence. And I know these things seem opposite, but they are actually not opposite. Humility about the fact that, yes, we don't know stuff, and that's okay. Irreverence about the fact that we can learn anything we want to learn. And therefore, I'll again end my talk by repeating those three things. Learning is the rate of change of knowledge, and that's what is more important. The world of tomorrow, the world of economy speed is going to be defined by learning. Experts will have more difficulty asking stupid questions. Experimentation is more important than experts. The ability to ask questions like a child is going to become very, very important. And be generous. Live with a world of abundance and share what you know. The new IP is interaction property. Interaction inside the organization and interaction outside the organization. I can give you multiple examples. Today, when we work with, we work with a pharma company, a pharmacy company, an insurance company, all of this to make healthcare better in the world. So which means that multiple companies have to interact. And data is the, fuel for all of those interactions to happen. So I wanted to again thank you and wish you the best for this conference. I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything for me. I'm more than happy to answer if any of you have anything. But I'm also available for all of you. You can reach out to us, individually later. And we'd love to keep interacting with you. Thanks again.
We have to tell them. Any questions from the participants? You can unmute and ask.
Good morning, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
I think one participant is interested in asking a question.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, one and all. Good morning, Dheeraj, sir.
Morning.
Sir, simply asking one personal question that like Mu Sigma is hiring for data science positions or researchers.
Yeah, we will. We are hiring a lot of people.
So, can we go on the website and from there we can register there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Site will be sir, Mu Sigma. What would be the website, sir?
It's mu-sigma.com.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Jitendra ji, I just want you to elaborate a little more on how
yeah, sure.
Make the experiences better. Because that was one of the focus areas that you had highlighted. Of course, you gave a beautiful example of the Dheeraj. Yeah, Dheeraj. So, could you please explain how you can make the experiences better, maybe in a typical complex environment? Thank you.
I think the perspective there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the perspective of making experiences better is by first understanding all the interactions. An experience is a result of interactions. I'll give you a simple example. Hydrogen and oxygen are two elements. But if you think about the interactions between them, most people would say, yeah, you can make water. Well, if the interactions are good, you can make water. But if the interactions are bad, you can make hydrogen peroxide. One is life-giving and one is life-taking. So the quality of interaction, how things work with each other, is going to become very, very important. So the element of understanding all the interactions. So if you are looking at inside a business, inside an organization, you have sales, you have marketing, you have product, you have operations. All of these are entities. These entities, how they interact with each other. How the flow of information is there is going to become important. And when you think about data, data is only one part of that flow, right? So when you go back and ask yourself, what does the flow look like? The information flow starts with a hunch and then a hypothesis. Then coming up and saying, okay, for this hypothesis, what are the questions that I should be asking? For these questions, what are the possible answers I can have? Now, these answers come in form of data that is inside your company, data that is outside your company, and data that you may need to create. So how are this data interacting with each other? When questions and answers marry each other, that's when good insights and decisions take place and recommendations happen. And these have to be acted upon, and then eventually you have measurement. And then you have a feedback loop. So this is the decision supply chain. Like a physical supply chain, you have a decision supply chain. So thinking about experiences of all the people happening in the decision supply chain is going to become very, very important. And then you can, whatever you do will allow you to, have more adoption for your recommendations and so on and so forth. So that's how I would see it. And a key to making experiences happening is having empathy. And that's going to be and that's why I think anybody who is in the data science or decision science, more importantly, should be studying about design thinking. And there's enough, enough material in the web about that. But again, when people come to Mu Sigma, the first 6 months, we teach them a lot of these kind of things also.
Thank you, Mr. Dheeraj. I think it was very important that the design thinking we have to incorporate in curriculum. And the other important psychological input which you have given is the empathy, which in a hurried world, we are missing. So patience, empathy, willing to understand, spending time in making the interactions effective, a very, very important point in all walks of life. Thank you, Mr. Dheeraj, for having enlightened us on this very important topic, beautifully telling us with vivid examples. As you rightly told, questioning, repeated questioning, empathetic questioning, trying to understand interactions, I think is a key aspect of learning. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful session. We enjoyed, sir. We look forward to having more sessions with you at a later point of time. Quite a few students from PAG iTech are with you. Even today morning, I was talking to Mr. Abbas, our EC student who is working with you. Thank you for having permitted him to do PG course with Spilani also in data analytics. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dheeraj. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you, sir. Sir, two things about your speech kindled our interest. One is that learning is the rate of change of knowledge, and the second thing is about empathy. So we'll plan to teach, bring our students into the situation and then teach them accordingly. Thank you, sir.